everyone. Hi again. Please excuse any background noise. Thankfully, my noisy neighbor isn't went inside. Except for this one over here, but that one's cute, so the little pup can get away with it. It's just a puppy. Hope everyone's doing good. Hopefully you like the setup back here. I've been wanting to do this for a while. With all the lights, and probably can't see, but we got a bunch of angels surrounding us right now. It cooled off a little bit. It's been really hot, but now it's nice and breezy. So I thought it'd be nice to hear the wind chimes too. If my little buddy would stop interrupting. Don't be rude, pal. It's all good. But I thought it'd be nice to sit out here with all of you and just enjoy the nice breeze, breeze. The wind chimes, the sounds. Now I hear somebody screaming. Again, sorry about that. But let's try to drown all that out. I thought it'd be nice to just come out here with all of you, and I thought I'd try something a little different, because not everybody's into like the mouth sounds and all that stuff like that. So what I thought I could do to hopefully help some of you go to sleep is read you a bedtime story. And like again, hopefully I'm not too loud. It's most likely going to be soft spoken because you have to hear me read anyways. I thought I'd read you a bedtime story. And also, like I said, I don't like wearing my earphones. It's too constricting. So most likely going to be soft spoken video. But I thought I'd read you a bedtime story, put you to sleep. Hopefully it doesn't give you nightmares, because it is kind of scary. The cover alone. Okay, I'm gonna be a little silly. I can't help it. Fate presents Strange Encounters. Yeah, the cover's a little scary. I don't know why they portray us like that all the time. We're not all like that. We're not that scary. Joking. Sort of. Had to portray us so mean. Oh no, I hear my neighbor. I guess he decided to come back out. So I'm not about to stop recording. So he may be loud. I apologize. Try to ignore it. And I'll just have to edit him out if he gets out of hand, because he lets his presence be known. Nothing against him, but trying to record. Anyways, let's get to this. Oh, also the author of this book is Kurt Southerly. Cool name, Southerly. And I'm gonna skip to, let's see, what bookmark? I know some of you like, I don't know about all of you, I'm not too crazy about it. Page turning sounds. But what I want to do is skip to chapter 2, because chapter 1 was a little slow. I think more because it was an introduction. Now I'm hearing some sounds behind you guys. Don't be afraid. I don't know what that was. It might be being watched. But it's all good. We're safe. You're safe. You're safe with me. What I said I was joking about earlier, these fellas right here I'm cool with, so, and they're not all mean like that, so we're good. You're good. I got you. Anyways, I'm gonna skip to chapter 2 because the first chapter was a little slow, and also I noticed there was a lot of big words, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm messing up on these words too much. So, let's try to relax now. Sorry, my elbow's itchy. Okay. Chapter 2. I'm going to lower my chair a little bit. That way I'm not hurting my neck. Whoa. Felt like I broke the chair there. This is such a train wreck. I'm sorry. Bear with me. Okay. Chapter 2. The invasion of Bashkung Lake. Hopefully I pronounced that right. It all began in the evening of November 23rd, 1973. Canadian realtors Earl Pitts and Jim Cooper were driving on Route 35 to their homes near Bashkung Lake in the town of Minden, Ontario. Suddenly, an awesome thing, quote unquote awesome thing, as Pitts later described it, flashed through the sky from west to east and vanished from sight in seconds. The object, which the men estimated to be 18 feet long, was large in front and tapered, with a glowing front end and a white light at the tail. There goes my neighbor. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Private pilot Dale Parnell of Stormy Lake, driving home that night, was with his wife, watched another, or perhaps the same object, pass nearby on Buckhorn Road. Pete Sawyer of Halls Lake also spotted a strange flying object. Through his sighting was during daylight hours. Though his sighting was during daylight hours. Wow, so he saw this during the daytime. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting distracted. My neighbor's not very considerate. Anyways, you relax. Okay? Please relax. Please relax, okay? Relax. Relax. Okay? Okay, where was I? He told reporters that it looked like a helicopter without a tail. It came down the gully by Shaw's, heading for Bashkung Lake, he said. The top of the object was illuminated, the bottom half dark, and that was the last I saw of it. Sawyer added that the object had 4 legs, or landing gear, that appeared to be partly raised. 3 months later, weird flying objects were still hanging around Bashkung Lake. Mr. and Mrs. Ashley Lunham, hopefully I pronounced that right, resided in a lakeside house. Told reporter Peter Courtney of the Minden Progress. Excuse me. Sorry, where was I? I swear, every time I start recording, my throat wants to make noises or whatever. It's all good. It's all good, it's all good, it's all good. I hope you're relaxing over there. I know this is a train wreck, but please try to relax. Enjoy the view. It's pretty relaxing out here, aside from my neighbor being loud. Okay, where was I at? I lost my... Residing in a lakeside house, told reporter Courtney of the Minden Progress that strange aerial objects had scarcely missed a night since mid-November. The UFOs made no overt attempt to disturb residents or interfere with them, Miss Lunham said, but she did recall one rather disquieting incident. Disquieting, I've never heard that word before. That's why I was like, did I read that right? The couple had just finished dinner one afternoon during mid-February 1974. When they saw a UFO move over the lake and turn toward their house. Midway across the lake, the object began to glow with a brilliant white light, as if generating excessive energy. The burst of power lasted for only a second or two. But in that brief interval, the frost on the Lunham's dining room windows melted. When Miss Lunham went to wipe up the water, she discovered the glass was so hot I couldn't touch it. The outside temperature at that time was 20 degrees below zero. Wow. You know, side note, I have heard of that where a lot of these objects, unfortunately, they do have a lot of not just heat but radiation, and some people have gotten cancer and third-degree burns from being too close contact. Not all the objects, but some of them, maybe the older models, maybe way back when. But yeah, they carry a lot of radiation, unfortunately. and heat. Anyways, back to the story. The Bashkung Lake UFOs arrived in assorted shapes and colors. Some objects were cigar-shaped, and some were pollywog-shaped. Some flashed amber, red, blue, or white lights. Others were rust brown or black in color, or sometimes a dull red. Each was reported to be carrying up to 9 external antennae. Though they seemed to communicate not by radio, but by flashing a kind of code back and forth with bright lights. I've also heard of that too. I think that's why they put it in that one old movie by Steven Spielberg. Was it Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Yeah, a lot of times they communicate. If you get a flashlight or use your phone, if you see one, start communicating with it, they might do it back. I swear I'm hearing a lot of stuff around us. Aside from my neighbors. Do you hear that? It's right there behind you. Don't be afraid though. Alright, I got your back. Maybe it's just the wind. Might be a cat too. All the animals love to kick back here because this is the spot. Obviously, look at how relaxing and tranquil this is. Okay, I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted. Alright. According to the Lunhems, flying objects appeared over the lake nearly every evening at sundown. Throughout the winter, arriving first singly or in pairs. I don't think that's spelled right. Singly? Like single, like one of them? Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Then in greater numbers until the frozen lake surface was a virtual parking lot. Sounds like this was the place, because all my alien homies wanted to go park over there. Sounds like. The objects would then either settle to the surface, hang stationary over nearby power lines, a common UFO practice, or hover above holes in the ice that remained after ice fishermen had moved their huts. I swear I thought it said butts. It's dark out here. After they moved their butts. Stupid. I'm so sorry. I'm a child. Moved their huts. So ice fishing. The UFO occupants, if there were any, were never seen. Of course not. After weeks of this nightly activity, the Lunhems decided to call the authorities. They may as well not have bothered. An officer of the Ontario Provincial I swear these big words throwing me off. It's hard to see too. I should have worn my glasses. It's alright. Sure, let me blame the glasses. Police arrived on the scene, pronounced the object's reflections, and departed. Of course. Good talk, officer. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Reflections, huh? Okay. Thanks. Sorry, I'm getting sarcastic. Good talk. After he had gone, the reflections shot straight up into the sky. Reflections. They did put quotes, reflections. I like that. Now they're getting sarcastic with it. Streaked above the lake, their light reflected in its frozen surface. The Lunhams next tried to interest the Canadian Department of National Defense. There they met with even less success. On the morning of February 26, 1974, 4 UFOs were spotted within 40 feet of the Lunham's home. These objects were of a different shape and design than any they'd seen before. Each had 4 wings, and an overall wingspan of about 20 feet. They were dark in color and equipped with blue-white lights. Each, as it is abruptly departed, discharged a fog. You know, I've never heard of objects that look like that. That's a little different for me. Okay. Taken as a whole, the objects over Bushkung Lake were an unworldly conglomerate. I swear these big words. They need to take it easy with these words. Because honestly, I think I said that right, but honestly, I don't even know what that means. Bear with me. Hopefully me rambling and going on tangents too help you go to sleep too. I'm so sorry. Like I said, I'm a child. They looked nothing at all like conventional aircraft. Their manner of flight was strange. Takeoff was described as an upward bouncing motion, not unlike a rubber ball. Sometimes when they launched, they made an audible sound, a kind of dull thumping, that faded as soon as the UFO was airborne. In flight horizontally, they moved erratically and at greatly varying speeds. And there goes my neighbor. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to cover you guys' ears because there's no way I'm going to be able to edit this out later. The struggle is very real. What can you do? Oh, my cute neighbor wants to chime in now. But that one can get away with it, because that's just a pup. Just a little dog over there. I'm still stuck on thumping. That UFO was bouncing. I don't know. I think those aliens were, doing the whole probing thing. They were getting it on, having some fun. All that bouncing and thumping. Get it? I'm sorry. I really apologize. I know I'm a freaking child. Alright, let's continue. I think my neighbor kind of calmed down a little bit. I think I spoke too soon, but I at least want to get through this chapter for you. And we can do another chapter another day. At least one chapter. understand. Miss Lunham told reporters she didn't believe the objects were from outer space because they appeared almost every night for months. What's more, she said the UFO power plants didn't seem highly advanced. Subject, evidently, to the same sort of problems as earthly engines. This could have been early development of the government. Sorry, this is just me when they tried re-engineering the crashed UFOs from back when, like when Roswell happened. Sometimes they start to fail. She said a UFO experienced difficulty starting up the morning of Tuesday, February 26th. On Sunday, March 10th, 1974, journalist Peter Courtney spotted a UFO over Boshkung Lake. The sighting, his first after a number of visits, was described in a Minden Progress article dated March 14th. Excuse me. In the article, Courtney acknowledged that one of his assignments was to cover the reoccurring UFO activity in Halliburton County, and in particular, the Boshkung Lake area. After 4 trips, he had collected numerous accounts, but he personally had observed nothing unusual. Then came the 5th trip. Wearing a snowmobile suit and equipped... Oh. You hear the firecrackers? Hopefully that's not too loud. 4th of July is coming up. Hopefully that's not too loud. It's not too loud for me, so I think it should be good for you. But I don't know. Your hearing might be better than mine's. Mine. Man, I can't speak. And equipped with a 35mm camera and a tripod for night photography, he arrived at the lake's east shore. The time he reported in his article was about 9 p.m. The weather was mild and the sky cloudless. The entire lake, he said, was bathed in bright moonlight. That sounds beautiful, actually. An hour passed, and Courtney had about decided that this was to be another uneventful trip when a dull red light appeared on the far side of the lake, moving above the treetops. The light traveled north in a slow, erratic manner. Excuse me. My throat. Before retracing its path and flying out of sight, the newsman had his camera ready, but the glowing red light proved too dull to photograph. Its movements, he wrote, were too erratic to be those of a regular aircraft, and he admitted that he was at a loss to explain away the object. He concluded that it defied rational explanation. While Courtney was quietly watching and puzzling over the strange flying light, others were preparing an ambush. That night, more than 50 people gathered elsewhere along the lake shore, determined to do something, anything, about the air loopers. Oh, interloopers. Interlopers. I don't even know. I'm sorry. I don't know what the heck that means. At about 10 p.m., the time of Courtney's sighting, members of a 6-unit snowmobile squad took to the ice, firing high-powered rifles at the approaching UFOs. Miss Lemham told reporters that a distant clunk could be heard as bullets struck the exterior of the flying objects. Boy, that's not good. Can't just start shooting at them. I mean, if they're just flying around, they're not shooting at you, why are you going to start shooting? People wonder why the government hid all this stuff for so many years. People can't handle the truth. They get scared, which it is scary. It is. So, can't blame people for being scared. It is scary. The unknown. But we shouldn't be. Her reaction was nervousness and uneasiness. I've had about as much of this as I can take, she said. She wasn't the only resident fed up with the weird goings on. That doesn't make sense to me. Whatever. I didn't write the book. Miss William Barnes, a housewife who, along with her husband, had watched UFOs near their home in Lachlan, Ontario, told reporters that a number of people had seen the objects and no one knew what to make of them. We can't all be crazy, she observed. One evening at the end of March 1974, Mr. and Mrs. Barnes watched a UFO maneuver about a half-mile from their house. Like many of the objects appearing over the lake, it sported red, white, and blue lights. Red, white, and blue. 4th of July coming up. Look at that. Maybe they'll make an appearance this 4th of July. Two nights later, the same or very similar. I'm sorry, my neighbor. I'm telling you, my neighbor. It's ridiculous. Two nights later, the same or a very similar UFO returned to the exact location, but this time was joined by a second object. Mr. and Mrs. Barnes and a neighbor, Miss Lester Hicks, reported that the objects hovered for a time. Then one of the two flew off rapidly. The second UFO departed more slowly at a cruising speed until it abruptly and amazingly dropped to the ground out of sight. As the UFO sightings continued, residents of the area began finding what they believed were landing traces. Evidence. Sometimes the trace was little more than a depression in the heavy lake ice. Other times it was significant, such as an odd pattern in the snow. Discovered by the Lunhams not far from their house, the unusual pattern was shown to Lindsay, Ontario Post reporters, who described it in a March 14, 1974 story. According to the Post, the pattern formed a V shape in the snow combined with two pad-like markings. It was located within a copse, I don't know what that word is, I'm sorry, of trees, and was clearly visible despite erosion caused by the warm March sunshine. However, the pattern was only slightly odder than the location itself. Within a wooded area, the post observed that if the copse, I don't know what that word is, I'm just going to go with that, had sheltered a flying craft, and this was by no means certain, then the craft was either small enough to penetrate the trees, or it had dropped to earth elsewhere and maneuvered to the location behind the Lunham house. Ooh, that's pretty spooky, I can't lie. Spooky. UFO activity at the lake continued well into April 1974. The final sighting of any consequence took place during the middle of the month. Miss Wallace Brown of Lachlan looked out her bay window and observed an object with blue, green, and yellow lights moving erratically through the sky. Her television set became inoperative while the object was in the area. Yeah, that's known to happen. So if you ever notice lights flickering a lot, it can mean a lot of things, honestly. Not just aliens. Sorry, I always have to put my 2 cents, I'm sorry. Neighbors also reported electromagnetic effects while the UFO was in the vicinity. What all of this means is anyone's guess. However, as Miss Lunham observed, the objects at Bushkung Lake were probably not craft from outer space. Too many questions are raised by their long-term presence and activity. Questions which fail to satisfy an extraterrestrial explanation. If the objects were in fact spacecraft, they were powered by amazingly primitive engines. Engines no better than terrestrial machines. Starting with difficulty on cold winter mornings. Also, there is this business of objects dropping to the ground out of sight, vanishing, apparently into the very earth. Finally, there are the sheer numbers of objects to be considered, and the fact that not once did anyone see occupants. Mysterious, peculiar, and even trifle absurd. The Bushkung Lake UFOs, like their innumerable counterparts spotted around the world, appear destined to remain a mystery for a very long time to come. Okay, that was, we finally got through that chapter. I apologize for all the interruptions. It may look nice and stuff, but I do live in the hood, so it can get quite noisy. At least we heard firecrackers. Firecrackers, firecrackers, firecrackers. Pop, 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 pop. Instead of gunshots for a change. That hasn't happened in a very, very, very long time, so things are getting better. But anyways, hopefully this somewhat relaxed you and didn't frustrate you as much as it frustrated me. And next time I'll try to I'll probably have to shoot like in the very, very, very early morning. Like, I'm talking about like 3 in the morning or something, because my neighbor tends to be out 24/7. Yeah. So I apologize for that. So, I keep it 100. Keep it straight. I'm on my channel. I tend to ramble. I joke around. So hopefully you guys stuck around. If not, I don't blame you. This was quite a bit of a train wreck. But speaking of trains, I hear a train. That one's not gonna wreck though. It better not. It won't wreck. Actually sounds kind of nice. My neighbor finally piped down, so I'm not sure if you guys could hear that. Sorry for the sniffles. I don't know, this little windscreen always makes my allergies act up. So yeah, it is pretty peaceful when, my neighbor and other people aren't interrupting. So I apologize 100 times, but if you did stick around, thank you. Next time I'll probably have to come out here like 3 in the morning. That way I can shoot. By the way, I would hope he's asleep. If not, it's like, dude. But anyways, if you did stick around, I appreciate it. We got that too, but he's a pup. I don't mind him. Or he or she, I don't know, it's boy or girl. But yeah, if you did stick around, I appreciate it, and I hope somewhat relaxed you, even with my tangents and going on tangents and all the interruptions, my neighbor yelling, and the cute little pup over here. But so next time I'll probably read the next chapter for you guys, and I'll try to find a time where there's hopefully no interruptions, and hopefully you guys, all of you, liked the scenery. So it's like I said, we're surrounded by a lot of angels. I know you can't see them. I forget what the baby angels are called, but my mom wants to call this angels in the hood, because we are in the hood. We've got a bunch of angels back here in this tranquil, relaxing, peaceful sanctuary. But other than interruptions, it's cool. But next time I'll try to do this very, very early in the morning. That way, hopefully my neighbor's asleep. I can't make any promises about that one over there, but like I said, that one can get away with it. The pup don't know no better. He's just being a pup, just being a dog. But I appreciate all of you if you tuned in, and especially if you stayed, because Yeah, I don't blame you if you left because of all the interruptions and stuff. But hopefully you get somewhat relaxed by this. If not, maybe entertained a little bit. I don't know. But get some sleep, and we'll read the next chapter next time. And like I said, I'm trying to make more content on this channel. What I said in my last video. So it may be a couple of train wrecks here and there, but try and bear with me. It's fun. It's fun hanging out, okay? And hopefully you sleep good tonight, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. Get some sleep. Get some sleep. Good night. Sweet dreams. I'll see you all next time. Good night. Good night. Good night.